lot of customers ask us what the difference is between traditional or conventional marketing and social media, which is really thought to be unconventional marketing. And I like to think that the best way to describe it is that conventional marketing, being television, radio ads, print ads, is static, and they have a pretty long shelf life. And in other words, when you develop a radio ad or a TV ad especially, you have to do creative, you do focus groups, then you have to do production, get it on TV, and because of the expense of that, it generally stays on television for 6 months or longer until we start screaming, "Stop, I can't take it anymore." Social media is much more fluid and it's alive. You can start out a campaign and put it out there, and you'll get a feel and a sense for it right away, and whether it's resonating with your customers, are they engaging with you. What I want is I want the company to come to me. I want the information that I'm interested in. I want product information. I want information on how to use the product brought to me, right to my social media doorstep. I want to wake up in the morning and check my Facebook page and find out what the latest information is on products while I'm finding out what my friends did last night and whether they watched the US presidential debate, are they following the Olympics, other events, what their favorite TV show is, are they engaging with TV shows through Twitter, which you'll see a lot of. Probably when you watch TV, you'll see that there's a hashtag generally at the bottom of the screen so that you can engage with that television program while you're watching it. Many people now are using multiple touch points. I think the number is around 60% of people will have a mobile device, either their phone or an iPad, Samsung Pad, while they're watching TV, and they'll be tweeting about the show, they'll be Googling to find out who the actor is in the show, they'll be finding out more information maybe about products that they're seeing in commercials. The important thing is that social media is very flexible. So if you find out that a plan isn't working very well, you're really not getting any feedback, people aren't liking it, they're not sharing or commenting on it, and they're not retweeting it, or you're not getting multiple views of a YouTube video you did, it's quite easy to change direction and start to think about what people will want. And you can learn what they want by the very fact that they're not connecting with you. And I think a really good example of this is McD Stories, and you may remember this on Twitter. McDonald's put out a hashtag McD Stories, and the purpose of that campaign was to get people who were producers for McDonald's or worked at McDonald's to tell their stories about what it was like to work for a great company. What happened was that the public latched onto hashtag McD Stories, and for an entire day, Twitter was inundated, and in fact, it trended all day with stories about why people didn't like McDonald's. How much fat are you putting in your hamburgers? One of my favorite was, every time I go to McDonald's, it smells like type 2 diabetes. Very negative. And McDonald's couldn't do anything about it. There was no point in them stepping in and trying to correct or answer these questions. They just kind of had to sit back and let it happen. The beauty for them is that Twitter burns out quickly. People move on to the next controversy, the next issue they want to talk about. So it was pretty much gone at the end of the day. But McDonald's didn't stop there. What they did was they learned a lesson from it. And they went and they said, okay, what is it that people want from us? People have questions, and they want the answers. So they started a website, which also connected into their Facebook page, called Our Stories, Your Questions. And if you go on that website now, you'll see hundreds of questions from people asking things like, how much fat is there in your hamburger? Why do you only put 2 pickles on my Big Mac? And McDonald's is answering every one of those questions. And I think it's a wonderful example of how a company took a negative, learned from it, and turned it into a positive, and is now connecting with their customers in a really good way. I would like to point out that people on Twitter obviously like McDonald's, even though they said they didn't, because McDonald's has 750,000 Twitter followers. So the important thing here is that if you want to connect with customers and really have a solid social media strategy, you need to be fluid, you need to have excellent content, and that is the most important thing. If you're reaching out to people and they are not responding to you in any way, shape, or form, doesn't matter if you have 1 million followers. you're still not reaching anybody. The person with 100 followers on Twitter or 100 fans on Facebook who's seeing engagement, seeing people commenting, people sharing, are actually getting a bigger bang out of their strategy than the people with 1 million fans. So take a careful look at who your customers are, how you want to reach them, and most importantly, what they expect you to give them.